Yo! Yo!
Oh,
Adrian,
Hey
we're
there.
supposed to yo.
Hey there.
We're on YouTube. We're supposed to go yo. It's a thing.
it's even better when it's out of sync.
It truly is. Hello,
Look,
everybody,
syncing
and
is
welcome.
for Twitch.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Go Godot Game Jam. This is the 4th Go Godot Game Jam. We're just going to go through the opening ceremonies. We will be dropping the theme with this timer that is right here. In 27 minutes, we'll be dropping the theme, and we'll be covering up a couple other things before then. Some of the things you can expect, some things that are amazing, some things that are necessary, like the rules and whatnot. And, well, how are you all doing today, my beautiful co-hosts?
Doing good, thank you. How about you?
Good to hear. Oh, I'm doing fantastic. It's Game Jam days. The best time of the
Yeah.
year.
You're starting it.
Let's run down the line with introductions. I am Jade the Kobold. I am host, and I will be running a couple of events that are not listed. We do have a lot of events. Actually, this thing I wanted to point out, and I might as well get it out of the gate really quick, is all week long we will be having events. Mine are not listed yet, but that doesn't mean they're not going to happen. They'll be announced on the same day. Adrian, how are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm looking at the numbers. It's like the biggest event that we had, and
Mhm.
after 1 year hiatus. So yeah, I'm really hyped.
It's good to see.
Really hyped. Yeah, and
Well,
also I'm back for people
Welcome.
that know my channel. Yeah, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
So
good to
what
be
is
here.
our current number at?
Let me quickly check. 913.
914?
13.
Nice. And you can
Yeah.
enter all the way up until the end of the jam. So if you haven't hit the button yet, there's no hitting the button does not mean you have to create something. Hitting the button means that if you do create something during that time period, you can submit it. So anytime up until the end of next week, you can join.
But it would be better if you join now, so the numbers are up. So you can see it
True.
nicely.
True.
To break records, break like 1,000. That would be awesome.
Honestly, I could see that happening. I genuinely could see us breaking 1K, especially after we announce prizes, which is going to come up soon. But before we get to prizes, let's go down. John, how you been? John Ivis.
Have been good, thank you for asking. That has been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a hot
Are you
minute.
asking about Godot or anything?
How's life? How's life?
Life is
treating you?
good.
That's good to
Life
hear.
is good. Yeah, I posted my last video about over a year ago, but it doesn't mean that everything is bad. Everything is great. It's just
Even
life.
after
Life is happening, and life is being great.
That's fantastic. And Sprig, how are you today?
I am also doing wonderful, actually. I've had a lot of good things happening recently.
Excellent. Excellent. That's great to hear. And a new person to the team, Liv.
Oh,
How are you doing?
Hi.
Who are you?
Hi. Oh no. Hi, I'm Liv the Cyberdoll. I stream on Twitch, and I went to college for game dev, and then didn't get my degree because I'm great at that.
That's fair.
Oh, I hope you can't hear my dog. Oh no.
We can't hear your dog, and they sound delightful. We need a mic on the dog. Can we get a mic on the dog?
Oh no, you're adding 2 dogs. Oh
There
no.
we go. All right, so we do have a lot to cover right now. So we have 24 minutes to cover a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be covered before the announcement is. And I think we should start with the rules. Does that sound good to everyone?
Yep.
Yay.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
Let me pull them up myself so I know what the heck I'm talking about. Because I wrote them and I still don't remember them. So, the rules, most of them are pretty straightforward. It is a Godot game jam. You must be using Godot. You do not have to be using Godot 4. Yes, this is a celebration of Godot 4, which we've all been waiting for years, forever. But it is not a requirement to use Godot 4. But because you will be using the HTML versions on itch.io, you'll be wanting to use at least 3.5. You are welcome to join with a team if you have friends or people. You only need to have one of you needs to have an itch.io account to be able to submit, and then you're golden. And you guys can chip in with any points or comments or notes that you have about any of this, of course.
I can say one thing about the submission. Yeah, so it's not mandatory to have the HTML version of the game.
Oh, it's
But
not
if you
this year,
do,
okay.
no, it's not. It's actually optional. You can have like a game with God of War and a downloadable, but the thing is, you might not get so many votes because you will not get a lot of people to play. Some might not want to download the game, or so this is why it's more accessible, making it HTML. So that's why we promote it. But yeah, it's optional.
That's a very good point, is that you're not going to be getting as many of good votes on your game if you don't have it on HTML, but you do thank you, you do not have to. I was wrong about that. I think was it the Go Godot Jam 2 that we made that mandatory? I could be wrong. It was one of them.
It was for for the last one, for the one on Gotham.io, just for the ultra version of the jam. So not for
right,
the
that's
classic.
what I'm thinking of. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways. If you're learning Godot now, if you're just starting out, that's fine. If you want to put in your first Hello World game, your first, dare I say, Snake clone, feel free. That's fine. Every game that is released and every game that is submitted is a miracle. I've always said this. I've said this for every jam. Every game that's released is a miracle of coordination for everybody who worked on it. And just putting something into the jam is fantastic. But you do not have to. And there are going to be a lot of people who do silent jams, which means that they're making games alongside the jam, but not necessarily submitting them. If you're doing that, welcome. You're not going to be listed in our numbers, but that's okay. We love to have you as well. And if you do complete it, you can join and hit the submit button right up until the end right up until the end. All the way up until the end, you can still submit that. One new rule we have this year with regard to AI, because AI is blowing up. Everyone knows about AI. AI is just absolutely on fire. Everyone's talking about it. Our rule is that you can use AI tools, however, you must disclose them and what you use them for. You don't need to list every single prompt or everything that you did with them, or how you used it, but you need to list what tools you used and what parts of your project. For example, I used Stable Diffusion for background art, or I used ChatGPT to help write some of the text. That's perfectly fine, but because of the way it'll help the judges with an understanding what was worked on directly by you and what was worked on with assistance from AI, we just need to know what is there. I think that's a pretty fair consideration, don't you?
I agree completely.
Yeah, and one thing to note here: in some countries, AI work is not copyrightable, so you don't own any copyright on it. So in case you want to continue work on your game and publish it later, that's gonna be a problem for you. So
that's actually true in all countries. That's actually an international thing, I believe. AI is definitionally non-copyrightable, which really throws a wrench into it for game development. But, well, it's not made by a person, therefore no individual is capable of owning a copyright on it. For those parts of it.
Yeah, the International Patent Office ruled that in order for you to have copyright is you would have had to have trained the AI on stuff that you made yourself and nothing else. Entirely. Yeah.
Speaking of which, do note that some of these tools are not legal in all countries. Italy, for example, did ban some versions of AI tools that are trained on other people that were trained without the other people's permission, which, let's be honest, is most of them. But just be conscious of that. Check your local, check your locals. Always. The theme, I see people are already at, people are already talking about Snake. I'm doomed. For people who don't know, there's always a couple of Snake clones. Sometimes there's millions of them, sometimes there's a couple. And they are just thrown in my side. I judge them fairly based on how they are, but Snake clones are the bane of my existence now. All right.
A game that appears to be Snake, but just meta.
So if it's not, so other things, if your game is created using something other than Godot, it's out, gone. Only submissions for this jam are allowed. If you submitted your game to another game jam, then you didn't make it. Then either you didn't make it during this game jam period. I mean, that's really what it is. Yeah. Yeah. So don't make something that you've already made. Don't submit something that you've already created. Will know. We have a lot of people here who are familiar with a lot of different game jams. You'll get found out faster than you think you will. You must own all of the assets that you make unless they are AI. If you are using art that is not yours, it must be public domain, or it must be something that you explicitly have licensed permission to use. And don't make the mistake of thinking that, oh, this is classical music, it's going to be in public domain. No, the recording has to be public domain or owned by you. Because one core feature of this game jam is that every single game is going to be streamed and judged online, where the streams need to be able to be streamed. So aside from just being a good policy for yourself, being a good policy that you need to be conscious of making sure that you own all the stuff, like copyright's an important thing that we all need to think about as game designers. We all need to know what we actually have access to. And because all these games are going to be streamed, if we get hit with a DMCA copyright claim on YouTube or Twitch, yeah, that game's getting disqualified. Easy as.
Who is that? Appleseed.
Yo, welcome, Appleseed. How do you do?
I do well. I just came from work, so I'm a little winded.
That's quite all right. I'm glad you could make it. Let's see here. Let me increase the streamer's section size a bit. There we go. And I'll put this over my hands. Cool. Awesome. You are all set. So we have... We're just covering some of the rules right now, or we just covered most of the rules. The other rules are pretty obvious. Nothing discriminatory, offensive, anything star.phobic, not safe for work, anything that doesn't abide by Godot terms of conduct or itch.io terms of service, no good. Very obvious things, right? There's no surprises, no gotchas there. But I do want to talk about voting. Now, we do have a host of judges, which is these lovely people right here, as well as myself. And these judges don't have any more power than you do. And that's something I want everybody to know. The judges don't actually have any more voting power than any of you. And that's important. The judges are here so that there is a public face and so that there is a professional opinion, because each of our judges are an expert in a different field, and that's going to be part of the value of this jam, is getting that professional feedback. I know some people balk at the word professional, but I mean, it's true. We are all some sort of expert in some sort of field. And we do have a judge also that's not here with us right now, who couldn't make it to this particular stream. But before we go into the voting, I do want me to just introduce all of the judges here and give themselves a chance to say hi. So tell us a little about yourself, Appleseed, since you just showed up. Let's put you on the spot. Let's put the spotlight on you right away.
Hi.
Hi.
That is very friendly. You just got in.
I'm a friendly gob. What can I say? I'm Appleseed. I'm describe myself as your friendly neighborhood goblin druid. I like to play a lot of indie games. I love to showcase new devs. So that's part of why I loved being involved with this last time, and I'm really happy to be involved with it again. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm an expert in any field, except I love games and I know what makes a game fun. So that's my area of expertise.
You are literally a stage actress. Don't sell yourself short.
That's true too. I'm also a huge stage nerd.
Yeah, you are literally a stage actress. Don't sell yourself short. You're fantastic. If there's any time to promote yourself, now's the time. Let's see. Sprig. That just goes straight to you.
I am Kobold Sprig, as mentioned earlier. Fellow weird internet lizard. I have no idea what expertise that I I have an approximate knowledge of many useless things.
Valid.
You can find me on twitch.tv/koboldsprig. And I like playing games too, and I like to try to pick things apart and figure out what makes them tick.
Mm-hmm. And I know you're a game designer because you and I have literally been working on game design, something that we'll be doing this week as a part of and showing off to people. That counts. You're a game designer. Deal with it.
Okay. Technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Exactly. Don't sell yourself short. Liv, tell us about yourself.
Oh, hello. I'm Liv the Cyberdole. I'm on twitch.tv/Liv the Cyberdole, a dog from the future. I don't know if I'd call myself an expert because I didn't graduate, but I went to college for game dev. I also did do some writing, and I tend to think of myself as somewhat of an expert in that sort of creative process. A hobbyist 3D modeler. Don't ask to see them; they're really bad. And I generally think I know what makes games fun.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And Ivis.
Hey there,
Hi.
I'm John Ives. I started my Godot journey 3 years ago, and I had the luxury to contribute to Go Godot Jam since the very first iteration of it. So my pleasure to be with you, Adrian and Jade.
Pleasure.
That is amazing to host the fourth iteration of it. Like, wow, it was just first and now it's fourth. I'm a content creator, game developer, and currently working as a lead game producer. And on my channel there are Godot tutorials and devlogs that you can find. Hopefully they are still useful for Godot 4.
Excellent. We do have two more judges who are not here at the moment. We have Yumi, who is another streamer, who is an artist. They're a professional artist. They have are going to be invaluable for their ideas on art design and, well, layouts and things of that nature. And we also have the exquisite Luna, who has been here in the past as well, who some of you may remember, who is herself also a Godot game designer. We have about 10 minutes before a theme drop, which should give us just enough time to cover how voting works. There's 5 categories of voting. I only have 4 fingers. There are 5 categories of voting. The first is technical, which is, at a base level, does the game work? Does the game show off the engine? Does it highlight? Does it do anything particularly impressive? Is it feature rich? The technical is mostly for us to, who are in the design field who say, hey, I didn't know Godot could do that. It's, does this wow me? Does this do something that is impressive? Does this really impress me at any particular level? On any technical level, that is to say. And a 0 in this field looks like the game crashing or not running stably or features consistently failing to work. And a 5 in this field looks like something that I would just jaw drop and say, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that was possible in Godot. I didn't realize that that could be done. There's a wide range in between, and, well, I think that we'll see a lot, everything in that range. We'll see everything that is in that range. I tend to be fairly strict in my voting. My 5s are reserved for things that genuinely jaw-drop me. This doesn't mean that everyone else has to follow the same considerations, but most games for me clock in at a 3 until they prove themselves to be worth a 4 or jaw-drop me into a 5, or find themselves holding back or faltering in some field to go down to a 2, or genuinely are non-working to hit a 1. So, for me at least, I tend to be a little bit more strict in my voting. My 5s are very heavily weighted. If you've seen my streams before, that's something that I think the returning devs will recognize. But again, that's just my personal stances. The second category is artistic. Is it pretty? Are the sounds and the visuals effective, entertaining, fitting? Is it coherent? Are the text boxes legible? Helvetica rounded? I will go on several Helvetica rounded rants this year. Make sure your text boxes can be seen. But this is very much up to interpretation, right? It's having a consistent art style is important, but whether or not it looks good is a personal thing. But even if it doesn't match your definition of something that you like, it's important to recognize, is it good? Right? Because being good is a different question than do I like it? And it's a hard one for a lot of people. It's hard for people to distinguish the difference there. Like, like, think of it like food. You might have a bite of food and say, I don't like this food. It's not what I enjoy. But I can tell that it was cooked well. I can tell that it was seasoned properly. I can tell that the flavor is, if I liked this type of food, then I would enjoy this as an excellent example of it, even though it's not to my taste. That can be hard for some people, and, well, just remember to think of it in those terms.
It's like getting a really nice taco with cilantro on it.
For some people, yeah. Next is the game design category, which, well, that's one that simultaneously is extremely difficult to explain, and yet we all know what it is, right? If you hit, if the menu button is F1, then you have something awkward. If jump is the P, but everything else is handled on a controller, those are the extreme issues. But this is how how cohesive is the game design? How well do the elements work into each other? Do the mechanics make sense, and are they intuitive? This is also how natural is it to play, right? Does this game flow? Can you pick up the game and just understand it at some level of saying, hey, I've played enough games in enough genres to be able to say, I know where this game's going. That's usually an indicator of good design. Not always, and there are different ways of going about it. I will absolutely be doing at least one game design talk during the course of this upcoming week. Next we have gameplay, which is just just fun. And this blends into the game design part as well. Like, is the difficulty scaling work? Does does the game flow well? Like, there is some bleed over into the game design, but this is more of just the fun factor. Does this do something new? Is it a game that I've played before? Is it another Bloody Snake clone? I'm sorry. Like, what does it do that's unique and innovative? If I had this game on a shelf, remember when shelves were a thing? If I had this game on a shelf next to 3 other games in the same genre, would I pick this one up? What is unique and interesting about this particular game? That is part of the gameplay. It's what's fun about this. And then lastly, one that is just as weighted heavily is theme. The theme is within 5 minutes. We're almost there. Victor points out escape doesn't work on HTML5. That's true. I've seen people try it anyways during the game jam. You're right. You're absolutely right. That hasn't stopped people in the past. Yeah, it's true. Good point. The theme is not just something that you're supposed to follow. It's a core part of judging. And this is something that not all game jams do. Is your game an application of the theme? Is it just a surface level basic understanding of, oh yeah, it's about this? Or does it dive deeper into it? Do you really get into the focus of what the theme is? Was it last event their theme was growth? I think.
Yeah, the last event
one.
it was like evolution.
Evolution.
Yeah.
Growth was the
Evolution.
first one.
And like, there's so many different interpretations of that, right? And we always put like a base level interpretation, but there's always more that you can read into it. How much are you reading into the theme? A 1 in theme means you didn't make it for this jam. A 1 in theme means that there isn't really anything about the game that is about the theme. And a 5 in there means that you've not only explored the theme itself, but you've thought about other interpretations. The theme's the core of your game. The theme's the core of what you are doing and what your objectives are in the game. The theme defines the game. And that's what a 5 looks like in theme, for me at least.
Created new intellectual property, in other words.
Yeah, pretty much. Arakata. And speaking of theme, we are only 3 minutes away from the theme drop.
Oh,
You all hype?
man. I'm very excited.
Oh, I want to say I also wrote in the chat, but probably not a lot of people saw. Stay for the prizes too.
Yep, we're gonna be
Because
yep. No, sorry, go ahead. I interrupted you, my bad.
No problem. That's it. Don't
Yeah.
forget to stay for the prizes.
Yep, after we drop the theme, we're gonna be announcing the prizes, and the prizes are actually more exquisite than I thought they would be. We have a really nice prize set up right now. So look forward to that. Let me pull it up here so I can see it. Yep, I'm looking at it. It looks nice. I'm looking at the theme too.
Don't show the team before the counter.
we got 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes.
I really want to see what the theme is gonna be, because like I think the theme is gonna be the linchpin for how I vote. Because like I'm gonna be honest, like some of my favorite games look like ass. Like it's like you know, like I'd rather have a game that looks like crap and plays really well and fits to like it's, you know, it says what it wants to say like really really well, versus one thing that's like, oh yes, this runs at 2 frames a second, but you know, this toothbrush has 7 million polygons. You know?
And after that, we will be doing a Q&A. So if you have any questions for us in chat, I've seen a couple of questions, and I've kind of been glossing over them because I wanted to make sure I covered everything before we dropped the theme. We're going to do a full Q&A after the theme drop, and we talk about the theme and then the prizes, and then we'll go straight into all that. So if you have any questions, just sit on them for a few minutes, and we will be glad to answer every and all questions that you have.
Make sure if you're gonna sit on your question, make sure you put it pointy side down though.
True. I will also say that if you know me, if you've been around with this jam before, the theme always has a trap in it. You know this. There's always a basic surface level reading of the theme that is the not wrong inherently, but is the boring answer. There's always a boring trap answer for the theme, and if you make your game and just do that, fine. But there's also a lot more to read into it. There's a lot more that you can push into it. We just hit 928 so far. I think we'll hit 1,000 by the end of the event. I really do. If you know anyone else who might be interested, send them in, you know? Or just like go to itch and hit the join button just for my ego, you know?
Ego stroking is always
10
valid.
seconds.
10 seconds, 4 seconds, 2 seconds.
Oh my god.
Bam! It is there. Less is more.
Ooh.
Less.
That is interesting.
Yeah, isn't it?
Oh,
And you
this
can already
Yeah.
This is aggressively vague. I love it.
It's incredibly vague, and it's also very easy to fall into the trap, right? It's very easy to say, oh, less is more. Okay, so lower numbers do more damage. Like that there's a lot of easy ways to make a reading of this that's going to be, I don't want to say wrong, but I'm going to say wrong. No, not wrong, but it's going to be less interesting because there's going to be so much more that you can do with that theme. The theme has a lot of depth. The theme has a lot of options, possibly too many options. There's a possibility that the theme is going to be a bit daunting because like, oh no, what do I do with this? And that's good. I want to see the innovation. I want to see the brain thinks. I want to see what's in your head. And
Bring us your brain
see-
fruit.
Yes, I want to see what people do with this. I really do. I'm very excited for this. What do you guys think?
I was already very excited to be like helping out with this again, but now I think I'm even like doubly excited because there's just the possibilities are like endless.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like half asleep when you contacted me, so I was just kind of like that meme with the guy just squinting at his phone at like 2 a.m. but like now, yeah, no, that was the best 2 a.m. message I've ever received. This is gonna be great. My brain immediately flooded with what people could do with this, and that's gonna be great.
I pinned the theme in the chat so that people can see it. Also, we also hit 140 concurrent viewers right now, so welcome to everybody. We're glad you are all here. The jam is technically underway as of right now.
Yes, so you can start working on it. Yeah, by the way, I started publishing the theme on other platforms such as Discord,
Thank you.
Twitch.
Heck yeah.
And Valhalla is exactly correct. It has a philosophical touch to it, and I like that, you know? Yeah, it's less of a, oh, it must be a first-person shooter, and more of, here's some ideas of where you can go with it. Here's some concepts. But again, this is 20% of your score. There is a quiz, an exam at the end.
You will be
20%.
tested on this.
Exactly. 20% of your score is what is your interpretation of less is more, and that's part of what makes this jam so exciting. It really is.
God, like, there's seriously, like, my brain is whizzing right now. God, y'all best live up to, like, the games that are in my brain right now. I swear to God.
Some people are already having cool ideas. I can see people saying that in chat. They'd love to see it. A quiz. Oh no. So.
Kirilau, you better have some toast in your mouth, otherwise you're gonna fail.
True. It's your first jam. Welcome. I think that this is a fantastic first jam for everybody because you will get feedback. You will get direct personal feedback on your project. And again, when Adrian and I were first starting this game jam, that was one of the core things that we decided, right? Was that we wanted everybody to receive direct feedback. Because the educational aspect was always been very important to Adrian specifically. Right?
Yeah, and also like contributing to the Godot community in terms of game development and in terms of resources.
Jade even went so far as to review every single game. Was it second Go Godot Jam?
Actually,
from the beginning.
so all of them. Every jams. I don't know if I can do it this time. I don't know if I'll still be able to keep that up. But up until now, I have played and streamed live every single game jam entry. I will be doing a 24-hour stream at the end of the judging cycle, as is my tradition. And you are all, of course, welcome to be on there. I'll be having a couple of special guests on there as well. So look forward to that.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
Alright. 72-hour streams as I stream every game. Hell yeah.
Watch a small kobold slowly descend into madness. It'll be beautiful. But I do want to talk prizes. But before I do, I want to give all of our hosts a quick chance to plug some project or some event that they are working on. Want to go down the line, starting with Adrian?
Oh, I want to get back to Redefine Game Dev. I'm actually going to rebrand it a little. So yeah, stay tuned for more.
Stay tuned for more
currently
content from
working.
Adrian.
Yeah, basically.
Sprig, what are you up to these days?
There's the game development thing that we've got going on that's like semi-publicly known, semi-not. I've been working on a tabletop RPG by my own design recently. I've been kind of like pulled back from that a bit to work on our video game more.
Yep, so some of our game development we will be doing live, which is going to be a lot of fun. Ivis, anything particular that you want to plug?
Yeah, as I said, I'm working as a lead game producer, and we are working in Godot. Our engine is Godot, and it's an eerie, atmospheric 2.5D game, which has many inspirations. It's called The Bog, about a baby otter. I'm under NDA, I cannot go any deeper.
Totally fair, totally fair.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, but it's a great project, and you can already see the website. It's theboggame.com.
Alright.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure, and we are excited to work on that.
Luna, the judge that I mentioned earlier, is actually in chat. Hello, Luna.
Hello.
Appleseed, do you have any events planned?
Don't have anything specific coming up soon. However, I just actually recently had my VTubing 2-year anniversary. And very soon we'll be revealing some pretty exciting upgrades to my streams and just to Appleseed as a whole. So, twitch.tv/littleappleseed if you wanna
Nice.
find out.
Alright, and Liv.
Well, I don't have anything as fancy as my own tabletop system to work with, but I am going to start running Pathfinder campaigns completely homebrewed on my channel. Just right now in the writing phase and gathering my players, so look forward to that, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah.
And after this, I'm actually going to be dumping you all into the queue because I'm allowed to do that. I am running my own Pathfinder game with the delightful Sprig here and Liv, who are both a part of it. But also we have Magus Serling, who you might know from Lackadaisy Cats, which had a phenomenal, stellar pilot drop earlier this last month, and who also worked on Hell of a Boss, Satina. They're a fantastic audio designer, as well as Great Dictator, who you might know from the Team Neighborhood series of Team Fortress 2 videos. I think a lot of people are familiar with those. They are also a part of the game. That's going to be happening at 5 o'clock Pacific time, right after we wrap up. Well, not right after we wrap up, but that'll be later this evening. Mm-hmm.
Gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk prizes.
Yeah.
So, first place prize is, let me pull it up here. There it is. Is a whole bunch of licensed audio and audio utilities. Most of them are submitted by WA Production, and it is literally a $1,200 value worth of prizes. There's a vocal cleaner, an echo chamber, a compressor, which Adrian needs, a vocal limiter, a splitter, and then just another 40 licensed albums, from lo-fi to a bunch of cinematic sound effects to tech to house to EDM to dance variations to like this, a whole bunch. There's some disco in here, a whole bunch of really solid audio tools for you. Because let's be honest, you can never have enough audio tools. You can never have enough audio licensing and tools because that becomes your library. That becomes a tool of assets that you can use in any situation, and that's going to be extremely, extremely good for whoever wins that.
Such as the pre-roll music earlier.
True, yeah, the pre-roll music.
Dark Fantasy Library.
It's not Dark Fantasy. It actually is, but yes, it is. That is.
Oh.
No, this is WA. Yeah, Dark Fantasy is fantastic as well. Yeah, and we actually have Dark Fantasy in the background right now as well too. Shout outs to Dark Fantasy Audio, but that's not the price.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I
we'll see
have
whoever
the
wins.
stream muted, so I
No,
was going
valid.
off of memory and I was wrong.
Second place is 2D asset packs. It's a whole bunch of sprites. Now, UI elements, visual effects, and then a bunch of tile sets and just enemy. There's a whole bunch of prototyping material that could still be used in a final game. It's again, these are licenses. These are things that you can use in your own projects. There's Gothic castles, futuristic dungeons, overworld, RPG style overworld, like traditional Final Fantasy aesthetic stuff, but also just a bunch of UI elements that could go into any type of game. Wild West, feudal Japan. There is over 63 packs of assets of different themes in this. Some are from Chasers Gaming, some are from Pixie Moon, some are from who's this one? Caster? I'm not familiar with them actually. We have this is huge. It's a massive thing. I will have the listings of all the stuff that's on it in the itch.io later on. I don't have all the images because some of them were just decided today. We didn't have all of these paths set in stone until fairly recently. And then, third place. This is gonna sound a little cheeky. This is gonna sound a little cheeky, for being honest. But the third place prize is a course on how to make juicy games in Godot.
Yeah, it's actually made by one of our hosts, Mr. Elliptic.
Nice.
So yeah, he recently launched the course, so that's really great.
It is,
that
yeah.
we get the opportunity to have it.
As well as a handful of games that will be bundled with that, as well as we will have several games that are going to be given away to entrants, to just participants and entrants, especially during closing ceremonies. I think we'll be doing a bunch of different giveaways during that. But Adrian, when do you want to do the other giveaways?
The other giveaways are in the same time as in the same stream as the announcement of the winners, basically.
Okay,
so yeah, the logic is that everyone that participates, even if you don't get top 3, you still have a chance to win a random prize.
And really, you've already won in our hearts because you submitted a game, and that means a lot.
Yeah.
Someone asked. Wait 1 second. Someone asked if shouldn't the course go to the last place? It goes to the last place, and actually the other 2 editions of the course will go to random people that join the jam.
Yes. We will be giving that to other people as well. And honestly, the course is not just how to use Godot. It is how to use Godot to create a very effective scene, and how to use it to improve your experience with Godot. It's not a basic beginner's course, right?
It tackles basically making your game more immersive by making it juicy, like providing like smooth animations and transitions.
Yeah. Ways to refine your work rather than
perfect.
just how to, exactly. Question about first place. Since licenses for pro software, there could be legal stuff involved. Will the winner be allowed to donate them? We will be giving you the keys for the license keys, and then you can do with that as you please. That's the short answer. Is yes, we'll be giving you the keys, and if you want to give the key to somebody else, I believe that is within your that is within your right. But then you can you use it, obviously. See, I think that covers most of what we needed to cover, and I think we're ready to go into Q&As, which we've sort of just done right now, just by answering a question. So let's open the floor. If you have questions for myself, Adrian, about the jam, or any of our delightful hosts right now, fire away. The dumbest question is the one that you don't ask. There are other dumb questions, but that's the dumbest. I've never been big on there's no dumb questions. There are dumb questions, but the dumbest one is the one that you don't ask.
Dumb
I work at a
questions have value because they're funny.
All questions are dumb when they come from like very young children.
We have some excellent questions already. Right out of the gate, why is there no dedicated sound and audio category? The answer is that is part of the art category. The artistic category includes the sound and audio. I should have specified that when I was going over them before. My apologies for not. But there's no dedicated category for that, because if we had a dedicated category for that and a category for art, then 40% of the score would be dedicated towards sound and art. And we felt that was a bit too heavily weighted. We want to focus more on game design, we want to focus heavily on theme, we want to focus on the technical aspect of the exciting things that Godot is capable of. So we bundled in sound and visual art into one artistic category, so that which I think is appropriate for that. So it's mostly just a weighted thing, you know. If we had two separate categories, then both of them would be equally weighted, and that would mean that sound and visuals would count as much as game design. You see what I'm saying? It's a fair question, and one that we've gotten before, and be a fair question. When will we be able to play the Bog?
The bug.
John?
Wait. Wait. Maybe a year and a half for sure, at least that time. To be announced, yeah, I would say to be announced.
Let's see. Do we get bonus points if your game's protagonist is a kobold? I mean, keep in mind that the judges don't actually have more voting power than the participants, but I mean...
You might, but I particularly will judge you harshly.
Oh, there we go. Honestly, I mean, if you want to play to the judges, then sure. We're not above that, but our votes are no more important than your votes. So there's no actual, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll pretend my vote is more, so
there
they
we
can
go.
pander to me. Yeah.
Exactly. Said it before as a joke, but will the judges grant extra kudos to their petable dogs in the same game? Kind of the same answer. Leads to the charm, right? Having a charming protagonist is absolutely part of the artistic category and part of the, arguably part of the gameplay, the fun factor of it. If your protagonist is, cute and relatable, and that you have wholesome aspects to it, a lot of people will probably appreciate that. So, while there's not, inherently like granting extra points, making your game cute and approachable does broaden your audience. That's proven time and time again in game design, All you have to do is take a quick glance at the AAA market and you'll find a flood of games that have doubled down on that type of appeal. That is,
I mean, it's also an immersion thing.
It is. It's a different type of appeal than something like Call of Duty, but it is an appeal that has, by all means.
My dog just walked up to me right now, and my instinct was pet it. Like, it breaks your immersion if you can't pet the dog. Not a joke.
Can we build and submit the same game for a second jam that runs during the same time frame if it's being made within the same time frame? That's a question for Adrian, because that's a little bit on the complicated side, isn't it? What do you think?
I've been dealing with this in the past. Depends because like you can in each allows you to have like multiple submissions to as many jams as you like. I don't really approve of that, especially since probably you won't get the teams in place, so it should be avoided.
That's true. It should be avoided, but it's not a hard no, is what I'm hearing. And part of that is because of the themes, right? If you manage to, real talk, if you manage to land 2 game jams with this and make the themes work on both games, props. I say kudos to you. But I obviously you're talking about the Wild Jam, and we've had a discussion about that on the Discord, which is in the link below, by the way. If you want to join the Discord community, we did have a discussion about our cooperation and scheduling conflicts with them. Can audio and music be supplied to your team from a developer and be properly credited, as long as you have licensing rights to it and you disclose it. You can use other people's audio or assets for that point, but we will not be judging based on those parts, right? If you add your somebody else's audio, then we can't use that, really judge based on that audio. We can only judge based on how well that audio was integrated into your work. That said, it must not flag DMCA on YouTube or Twitch, and it must be something that you do legally have the rights to use. Those are the big important parts of it. So yes, but it must be credited and it must be noted. Let's see here. Are free assets and free licenses able to be used? Same answer. They have to be credited, they have to be noted, and you will not be getting bonus points on them for the creation of them, but you won't get points inherently taken away by that, right? If you use none of your own assets, then you might get a lower grade in artistic, but you still have to disclose it. And again, we have enough people here who are involved in game design that we will know. So just do yourself a favor and disclose it, because it's better to have, to take a small point hit on saying, oh yeah, that wasn't mine, than it is to be get banned because you didn't disclose it. You know what I'm saying? Theme makes you think of all the mobile games versus their trailers being more than the games. That's an interesting interpretation. I think that's interesting. How would judging be affected for multiplayer-focused games? Now, that is a very interesting question, and one that we've had to deal with in the past. The judging is purely affected by it based on how the game goes. If it's multiplayer only, then you run the risk of shooting yourself in the foot by not having people able to play and thus judge your game, and more judges, more ratings means you have a better chance of winning. So it's not a negative inherently, but it's the same field as not having an HTML version. Less people are going to play it, less people are going to judge it. That doesn't mean you can't do it. It doesn't mean you can't do an excellent game with that. You just have to be conscious of the restriction that you're putting on yourself in that regard. I would love to see a multiplayer game, but just be conscious of what you're getting yourself into. Does anyone else have anything else to add to that? All right.
Not exactly adding to that. I had it like this has already given me an idea for a game, but I suppose I'm probably not supposed to say that.
Let's see. So yeah, there we go. And as far as the streamers go, if I run into a game that has multiplayer, I will offer to play with people who are watching. So as far as the live streams go, we'll still judge it and we will still give our industry feedback on it. But over the average judge, the average participant, again, our votes are worth no more than anybody else's. That said, some people do follow guidance from our votes, so I guess it's not entirely without. Anyways. Let's see. A game where you must make great trailers for bad games actually sounds hilarious. Sort of like maybe like a what was that game? The Game Dev Simulator, I think it was called. That would actually.
Tycoon?
That's the one. Thank you.
Oh,
That'd be funny. We do occasionally see tycoon games, but that just leads very nicely into what is the optimal length. A good game jam game experience comes in, makes its point, bows gracefully, and leaves. Usually, a lot of these games run for about 20 minutes to half an hour. If you make it a 6-hour experience, cool. A lot of people aren't going to see all of it. I'm not going to stream all of it. I'm going to stream the opening experience, and I usually give a game about 20 minutes to half an hour. That doesn't mean you can't go outside that. That doesn't mean you can't make a good game that goes well outside that scope, but that's a optimal length for a game jam game, both for terms of the judges who are streaming and the other participants who are going to be judging your game. A good amount of time investment to come in, make an interesting statement through gameplay, through mechanics, through design, through art, through whatever you're making a statement for. Through liking the video, that's a really good thing you can make a statement on, and then bowing gracefully and leaving the stage. Luna points out that Godot 4 multiplayer is very good, and yeah, it is. I mean, absolutely. Godot 4 multiplayer is solid, and I would love to see some entrance of that, but for a game jam, that isn't necessarily going to be ideal. Does AI use get negative votes? Not from me. That's the short answer. AI use does not get negative votes, but it's the same. But I'm considering it the same as using somebody else's music, as using somebody else's assets. I can't judge that part of your creation because it's not your creation. Right? I think that's fair. Yeah.
I personally, I feel like AI for me, for my personal rating thing, it's not a negative, but it's not a positive either.
Yeah.
But if you use AI and you wind up with the meme of the bad hands, you know, you got like something like that, or it looks like you have a
Yeah.
window going into a doorway. Like, not only did you use this tool, you used it. It looks bad.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
yeah. So AI itself isn't AI on its own isn't a negative, but anything that's poorly implemented can make it a negative. And it and
Exactly.
yeah, it's like like the music and using someone else's music. Are memes allowed on the assets? Yes, but just like everywhere else in game design, that will date your game. You know, it's you can be conscious of that as long as the memes are respectful, of course. But that will date your game. And if you look back into like the early 2000s indie scene, you can find the games that were using memes and the ones that weren't, and the ones that are still remembered tend to be the ones who weren't. That said, yeah, I love memes. I am an absolute meme lord myself, so sure, go hog. If
The
any of
only
the
exception
judges-
there was,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the only exception there is Borderlands, which won't die.
Fair, yeah, but that's kind of its own special thing in it. It also made its own memes. It also made itself memeable without relying on other memes, for the most part, which is important. It's yeah. If any of the judges were submitting a game, would they use V4? I would. I think that V4 is very robust, and I would submit a game using that, if nothing else, than just to work with it more and to learn what it's capable of. So that's my 2 cents on that front. 8 days,
I don't know
doable.
how to program in the big dumb, so I have no idea.
I haven't programmed since the before times, so God, I have no idea.
8 days is doable, but you're realizing you have to program AI opponents, and yeah, I mean, it's a simple state machine. You don't need to make a huge machine learning thing. You can just do a simple AI state machine. There's a lot of good tutorials about that. I don't know if I can run a tutorial on that myself, but I can definitely, if you ask on itch.io, I can give you a few links to other tutorials that can help you in that direction.
Oh, also, BitBrain has a good behavior tree tutorial and the pack.
True. Yeah,
So yeah, you can check that one.
we'll make sure to link that, yeah. Can one participate even if it can't submit something playable? Absolutely. Joining the jam and hitting the join jam button means that you are interested in it and that you are going to be working on a project. It does not mean that you have to submit a game. There is no need of submitting a game. Will any of the judges be submitting a game? I don't believe so. I'm considering myself to be disqualified as since I'm one of the organizers. But I don't. Is anybody else planning on working on something directly?
I am currently considering it.
Okay.
I kind of have to see some stuff.
Fair enough. Obviously, you won't be able to judge your own game, but if you
Yes.
work on it, if you stream it during the jam, we will definitely link to it so people can see what you're working on, if you'd like. But again, the judges' votes are not worth anything any more than yours. I keep on saying it because it's such a strange concept to people, right? A lot of people assume that as judges we're the primary judges. Like, no, my vote's worth 1, your vote's worth 1. Everybody who submits a game's vote is worth 1.
It's a democracy, brother.
If anything, I mean, there is a little bit of thought process behind saying, hey, I saw how Jade reviewed this game. I agree, I'm going to follow their vote. But that's not necessarily true, and everyone makes their own decisions. So yeah, our votes are not inherently worth more, though there is a little bit of clout involved, which we can't really prevent. Can I repeat the rewards? Certainly. The first place reward is $1,200 worth of music licenses and audio tools. Second place is about $600 worth of 2D assets, tiles, models, AI tools, things like that. Third place is a course on polishing and improving your work in the Godot engine, as well as a handful of games. And we also have some additional prizes that will be handed out to participants later on throughout the event. Those will all be listed on the itch.io by the end of the day. Right. Do we have any more questions? Is there a way to ask fellow jammers to playtest your game? The itch.io is going to be the best. If you are... everyone has to join itch.io to be able to submit anything anyways. So on there, if you make a thread with your game and say, hey, could anybody playtest this, give me your thoughts, I can't promise that people will, but there's a pretty good chance. There's a pretty good chance that someone might take you up on that.
Play others' games, give them feedback, and
Yeah,
that will be reciprocity.
That's very good. Well said. Well said. Thank you.
Oh, and also regarding the community posting on itch. So once the judge stream happens, usually there is a main post. If you follow it every day, you can post your game there, and it will be played with priority. I think it's good to know.
Which other fellow creators will be making events? I will. I know that Sprig is planning on it, and who else do we have making? Who else do we have doing events, Adrian? We haven't really announced any of them.
Oh, we have a couple of more. So Mr. Lipik did an event already, but we have an interview hosted by BitBrain with DevDuck. That's gonna be awesome. There's gonna be an event by Canopy Games.
Oh, good.
It's gonna happen. Yeah.
I was kind of wondering why they weren't here, honestly.
Jan couldn't join. Yeah, I asked him, and he was preparing to sleep, unfortunately.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll reach out to him a couple times. I do plan on having an interview with Cheeseness, who's been a long-time supporter of the event, who is currently working on one of their own projects in Godot that's near completion. I saw it what it is, and give them a chance to talk about their experiences in the engine. I'm going to be doing a game development roundtable discussion with people, where I'm actually going to allow people from the Discord, anyone here, to be able to join in and just speak their mind live on stream. And at least one night, Sprig and I will be revealing some of the stuff that we are working on our own project. And if any of the other any of the streamers that came in later want to do anything about game development or game design that you want to make a part of the jam, just let us know. We'll set you up. Wait, yo, Sozin's here? Yo, what up?
Yeah. Oh.
Let's see here. All right, do we have any more questions? How much setting up, how to make setting up the game less tiring? How much production time per day? That is the sort of project management that can be extremely difficult to figure out. I can't give you that advice. That's something that you need to figure out for your own team or for yourself. How much production time you want to work on is entirely your choice. There will be some people who will be working 24/7, then there will be some people who just are working on a weekend and throwing together what they can and releasing it, and both are deserving of respect.
And to add on that, just judge it by yourself. Sometimes you take break for 5 minutes, you work better for the next 2 hours. So
True.
yeah, it just depends on the scope of your game, on the idea that you're making, and what you're up to working on. Like assets, some you can draw some, or you can create some, or you can find assets on the marketplace. So
You can probably find a talk about sprints and other project management tools. Actually, I could probably do something about that. I guess I'm actually qualified. I have 20 years of convention experience. Running one of the largest anime conventions in North America for the past 20 years gives me a couple of cred points, I suppose. I guess.
Possibly.
Maybe. Yeah, I could do a thing about that, actually. I'll figure it out. Tips to where to find audio. What is it? There's
think there's actually a bundle on Humble right now.
probably. I know that there is. I forget the name of it, but there's a.
I think you can find on each. There is a website with free audio.
freesound.org. I find many sound effects there.
Petrucci Music Library is what I use. It's a public domain resource that shows a bunch of musical options and scores that are public domain. Many of which have recordings that are also public domain. The Petrucci Music Library, I'll put that on the itch as well, is what I personally use, but yeah, there's a lot of good tools out there. Oh, and by the way, the game has to be submitted by the end of the event. Yes, Kenny. I know Kenny. Great guy. Use their assets. They're fantastic. Let's see what I was going to add. So you have to submit the game by the end of the event, but I'm going to give anybody who's still watching a tip. Half the people have already left. Half the people have already left to go to sleep or to work on their projects. Fine. They're going to miss this tip. But
This is how you win.
this is how you win. No. Aesthetics are important. Aesthetics are important, and your game has to be submitted by the end of the tool, but you can work on your itch.io page afterwards. If you want to refine the itch.io page that your game is on, adding more visuals, making that look more interesting, that is allowed. You are allowed to work on that up until the end of judging. That's not restricted. It's a little loophole that some people have taken really good use out of in the past years. You don't have to, and you're not being judged on that, but that does sort of lead towards the vibe of your game, and some people will consider that part of the art category, even though it's technically not supposed to be. So there's your secret hint.
I mean, if you want to pander to the judges, every one of us has a different aesthetic, so whoopsie doodles. Can't pander to all of us.
It's true. Secret hint. Secret hint. All right, I think that about covers everything, unless anyone else has some fancy questions.
Neon lighted doggo petting simulator, yes. But it also should be in an apple orchard and also in a kobold warren at the same time. That's how you pander to all of us.
And ray traced.
Oh yeah, and it also has to be ray traced.
I have like one last addition. So the next events, where you can find them, of course they'll be announced on Twitter, on the Discord, and also on Twitter you have to ask for the event announce me role. Basically I won't announce to everyone to not be spammy. So if you want to get announced, you have to ask for the role.
I see the question that says, how do I dance on my hands without breathing? Unless I'm horribly mistranslating that, I'm going to assume that you're memeing, because... unless there's some translation that I'm missing. Spew codes, that is correct. That is virtually the same as the prize bundle. Yeah, that is effectively identical to the first place prize bundle. Secrets revealed.
Oh no.
Sweet.
But I know I haven't done much game development, but I do buy asset packs for like my TTRPG games since I run through Virtual Tabletop. Humble very often has some good tools that you can pick up, and right now, like, for example, they have a bunch of Godot courses for Godot lore.
Yeah. Might not be a
That
bad...
is also raising money for... which charity? Girls Who Code.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Humble Bundle's a really good place to get stuff.
Yeah. Alright, I think that about covers everything we wanted to go, and this is about as long as we were expecting. Any closing remarks from friends?
Enjoy
Good
the
luck.
jam.
Good luck. We
Enjoy
wait.
the jam.
We're waiting.
I
Remember,
am-
fun is the most important part. We will know if you can have fun.
I am very excited to see the theme interpretations. It's going to be absolutely wild to see all the different directions that people can go with this. Yeah. I'll be running my tabletop RPG. If anybody wants that for background noise, I'm just going to dump you into that waiting queue. Otherwise, we'll see you on itch.io, we'll see you on the Discord, and we will see you in the game jam.
Good
Thank
luck,
you, everybody.
everyone.
Good luck.
Luck.
Good luck.
Cheers, friends.